Welcome to another Chainlink update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our Discord server where we post daily updates multiple times a day. I mean, yesterday when the charts were going down, we posted like 1,000,000 updates. So if you want access to our information before we actually upload the videos, make sure to check out the memberships. And let's look at what's happening with VeChain. So, I mean, this correction that we are getting right now should not really surprise you. I did tell you that we will need a fourth wave move down at some point. And I mean, this right here, the support zone on the chart, has been on the chart for many weeks now. So, of course, I was expecting this. Now, I don't want to see the price get below the 50% extension, so we should stay above $16. And we could get another low before we do that, so, we could theoretically get to the 50% extension, but I don't want to see Chainlink go lower than that, because if we go lower than that, that would put us below the bull market support band, and if we go below the bull market support band, I mean, there's a chance that we get below this high right here as well. And as you know, or maybe you don't know, the fourth wave move down is not really allowed to interfere with the first wave price action, so if that happens, the setup will get invalidated and that would not be great. So we need to stay above the 50% extension and above the bull market support band and then above this high right here. So in case we get a bigger correction, which I'm not expecting because Bitcoin is already oversold on the 4-hour, but in case something happens, then I'm gonna put the 0618 extension on the chart as well. That is at about $14. If we get below that, then it's most likely over for this structure that we have. But like I said, it's not very likely that it happens, because if you look at the 4-hour chart, Chainlink is actually oversold, and this is extremely bullish, because the last time Chainlink was oversold, it was at about $10. Right now it's at $20 and it's oversold again. Now let's actually see what happened to Chainlink the previous few times when we got to the oversold territory. We got to the oversold here, we got a short-term pump, and then we just went sideways. This was an accumulation phase, so I'm not expecting this to happen again, to be honest with you. I'm still expecting another fifth wave high very soon, and we'll see how soon that is. It might be very soon, maybe in January, maybe by the end of the year. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I actually want to look at what happened before the first wave right here actually started. And as you can see, when we had the bear market low of 2023, Chainlink also got to the oversold territory. And what happened after that? We went up from $4.95 to about $8. Then we had a correction, we went to the oversold territory again, and what happened? This was an accumulation phase, and then after that, what happened? We went up. And then again, we went up, we got to the oversold territory, and we went up again. And it kept repeating forever until we got a cross on the bull market support band. Right now we don't have a cross on the bull market support band. We had this cross, but this cross was actually bullish, because the last time we had a cross like this where the green line went above the red line was down here somewhere, and as you can see, after we had the cross we had an accumulation phase just like we had right here. And then a couple of weeks later, look at what happened. We went up and we stayed above the bull market support band for a long time, and we went up from like $5.70 to like $20, and that was only the first wave, so things are still looking good in my opinion. Now of course that's only my opinion, but my opinion has been right so far, so we'll see if I continue being right. Now of course at some point I am gonna be wrong. I cannot really predict everything correct, There's nobody that can do that, but I really believe that the third wave will still happen very soon, and by very soon I mean in January and February and also March of 2025. Probably also April and May, and the fourth wave will most likely start in May, and the fifth wave will end by, let's say, September to November of 2025. So nothing has really changed, to be honest with you. We still have a 1-2 setup on the chart. The second wave move down held support levels. This was a good time to buy. And yeah, right now we are going in the third wave. We are still forming the first 5 waves of the first wave of the main third wave. And the minimum target for the main third wave is at about $105. And by the way, that's the minimum target, which means that we could overextend to the 2.272 extension, maybe even the 2.618 extension, but don't get your hopes too high, This is the minimum target, and this is what we should focus on right now. not like $300. And I'm still expecting Chainlink to hit like $250 by the end of the cycle, maybe $200, I mean somewhere in this region right here. And by opinion, we will at least get above the previous all-time highs. I mean, that's not even a question anymore. If you look at the monthly RSI, we are not even overbought and the price went to like $30 or so. So things are obviously still looking good. And also, if you want to compare what's happening in this cycle to what happened in the previous cycle, because I believe that's also important, in the previous cycle, Chainlink went up in November and then it went down in December. And then in January, the pump continued. And I really wonder if this will happen again. Now, if you ask me, it will most likely happen again because Bitcoin dominance is also doing what it did in 2020. Now, let me explain this. So, I have already talked about this multiple times, months ago, and even weeks ago, and even days ago, but I'm gonna say it again. So I was not expecting this to happen, but it was a possibility, and let me explain what's happening right now. So we went down in November, and there is a chance that we put in a new cycle high in December, just like we did in the previous cycle in 2020. So here, Bitcoin dominance went down like crazy in November. Everybody thought we would start an altcoin season, and then all of a sudden in December, we formed a new cycle high, and then after that, we finally started going down, and this is when most altcoins started going up like crazy. And like I said, right now we are doing the exact same thing. However, you have to keep in mind that here in the previous cycle, we had a cross on the bull market support band before we topped on the Bitcoin dominance chart. However, you have to keep in mind that in the previous cycle, we had a cross on the bull market support band after we topped. And if you look at what's happening in this cycle, we also just had a cross on the bull market support band. And I'm really wondering if this is the actual top right here, and if this is some kind of ABC structure to the downside. Now, of course, the Bitcoin dominance chart does not really follow the Elliott wave count too well, but maybe it's smart to use it right now. And keep in mind, after we had a cross on the bull market support band in 2016 and in 2020, it took about 48 days for something to actually happen. Right now, we had a cross about 30 days ago, which means that we could continue going sideways for another month or so. Well, not a month, probably like 20 days or so. And then when January starts, that's when we start the altcoin season, and that's when Bitcoin dominance finally starts going down. So whatever happens right now, doesn't matter if we hit a new cycle high or not in December, I'm still expecting Bitcoin dominance to go down in January because that's always what happens. And also, these crosses on the bull market support band are very, very important. They always tell us important things. For example, here it told us that the top was in, and right now I believe it's the exact same thing. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin dominance. I also have to mention Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also going down. It's currently going down in a fourth wave move, which is the fourth wave of this 1, 2, 3 setup. And this is the support zone for the fourth wave move. I've had this on the chart for many weeks now, probably even months at this point. So yeah, the support zone is between 75k and 91k. However, I don't want to see the price get to 75k because that would put us in between the bull market support band, and we don't really want to see that happen right now. The low of the fourth wave could be in already, because as I said, Bitcoin is still expected to hit 120k by the end of the year, which means that we will need a fifth wave very soon, and that could put us at like 120 to 130k, maybe even 140k by the end of the year. I know that sounds crazy, but if you actually look at the monthly returns chart for Bitcoin, in 2020 Bitcoin went up like 47% in December, and in 2016 it went up 30%, and both of these years were a halving year. And what do you know, 2024 is also a halving year, so I'm still expecting some kind of pump by the end of the year. Now, even if I'm wrong, even if we don't get to 120k by the end of the year, then I'm still right, because I still predicted that Bitcoin would be at 100k by the end of the year when we were down here, so theoretically I'm still right. I'm just not as right as I want to be, so you know, but keep in mind the year is not over and Christmas is just around the corner, so I don't believe Bitcoin will go down during Christmas, but that's only my opinion, of course. But if you look at the 4-hour RSI on the Bitcoin chart, I mean, it's already oversold. The last time we got to the oversold territory on the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, we were at about $59,000. So maybe this is a good time to buy right now. Of course, I would not suggest buying right now, but that's just my opinion, and this is not financial advice at the end of the day. I would not buy up here, but Bitcoin is still expected to hit $255,000 by the end of the cycle, so you could make some money with this, but I don't know if you will be happy with that. And yeah, Chainlink is still looking good. It's still in an uptrend, so nothing has really changed. Even though this dump looks very scary, it's actually not that scary when you consider the fact that Chainlink went up from about $8 to like $30. So yeah, things are looking good, and this correction is actually very healthy, so I'm still expecting another high very soon. And like I said, doesn't matter if it happens this year or if it happens in January, it's still gonna happen at some point as long as we hold support levels. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily updates on Discord. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.